First of all, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? I wanted to talk about this maybe like a week and a half ago, and then recently I seen somebody else talking about it, but they were talking about something different, which is fine because this is more of their stick anyway. Brother Sanchez was talking about the firmament, and I had seen something that made me have to conclude that, a lot of this stuff is made up. Let's go with an introduction. Let's read. Where are you at? And I know a lot of people, in this day and time really don't care about education. You guys just want to do what you want and, try to make it out. And I'm going to be honest, if you don't have any kids and you want to be just like a weasel trifling person and just live your life and ride on the ground, that's cool. But if you have kids or if you have family, I suggest you start opening your ears to what's going on, because I've already said they're going to play this book out in real time. If all the information is there to be read and studied, and you have the power for the props and the material to be able to pull it off, you're going to do it. And we'll get into the, how could man create? We'll get into that in a minute. So the biblical concept of the dome or the firmament is described in Genesis 1:6-8, where God creates a solid expanse to separate the waters below from the waters above the earth, with stars set within it. While some interpret this as a literal solid dome, many modern biblical scholars understand the Hebrew word rakah translates to firmament or expanse as a vast space or arc rather than a solid structure, reflecting ancient cosmology and separating the waters from the earthly seas to the heavenly waters. Okay, check this out. It doesn't matter if it's the NIV, it doesn't matter. Just listen to this. And God said, "Let there be a dome in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." So God made the dome and separated the waters that were under the dome from the waters that were above the dome. And it was so. God called the dome sky. Why am I talking about this? Kind of because what I was talking about the other day, about how they scorched the sky. You cannot scorch the sky. It doesn't make any sense. We need to, let's see. We need to understand that anybody claiming Hebrew or Jew or anything like that cannot be trusted, because they have never spoke on the dome. These people in the East that we're calling Israelis, they do not speak around the dome. But if you notice, they wanted a dome for themselves. Very interesting. Hebrew Israelites, people that go to church, nobody talks about this dome. They traded in what their father, their God, told them for what the scientists told them. That's where the whole round earth and the earth is round. That honestly never even made any sense for multiple reasons. For one, Christopher Columbus never went across the world. He never did. He went left. That was it. He went from the right to the left. That was it. He didn't go around the world. He didn't. So that's debunked. Here's another reason that this doesn't make any sense. Why would you think that the world was round when the whole point of it pivoting, this whole atlas, is a Greek character? The earth doesn't have an atlas. There is no such thing. That's a Greek character that's holding up the earth. That's what they're saying. Okay, where do you think you got the word from? So what I'm saying to you is this. If you think that the world is round, where are you getting that information from? You're getting it from spellcasters. Even the camera angles that they show you when they go all the way up there, dog, you know about AI, you know about them casting spells. They literally seen a fly on a spaceship. On one of the rocket ships we had out there, watching one of the NASA videos, you can literally see a fly. How the hell is a fly going to make it all the way out in space? So anyway, the reason that I'm starting to feel that this is true is because I've seen the sun and the moon at the same time. In my one lifetime, I have literally seen the sun and the moon in the sky at the same damn time. How is that possible? If we're always turning, remember, they claim it's night somewhere when it's day somewhere. So how do I have both? How am I looking at both? Well, what's the point of telling the world that it's round? Control. I'm not saying that because I can hear people already. They're going to be like, well, how did a dome, if you're claiming it's man-made, how did a dome get put out there? I never said the dome was man-made. So what are you saying? God's real? I'm saying Spook Man is not real. There is nobody sitting on a throne watching you. I do not believe that. I do believe that we refer to this energy as masculine, or we refer to soft energy as feminine, because we can only relate to what we know, which is humans. So this is why we use these characteristics, because we don't know anything else. If I'm going to use an example, I can only go off what is credible to the mind and credible to others. I can't say Udu Baba created. It's like, no, what is Udu Baba? Nobody knows what that is. So this is why a lot of things are referred to as masculine and feminine, because it is a human being interpreting this information. All this stuff is divinely inspired by God, but God never wrote anything. So this is people doing this. All right. Oh, man, it's man. Yeah, you don't have a problem with him when it comes to shopping and roofs and stuff, so I don't want to hear that. But clearly, this is people writing this stuff. So who created the dome? I don't know. Who created the concept of a heartbeat or the liver or the organ system? You're asking me questions that I don't have. I never claimed to have known those. And I don't think that we're ever going to. I think those are just like mysteries of life. Maybe in death, but it's still a maybe, because nobody has ever came back to verify that you're alive after death. The whole Christ story, we know that's spiritual. We know that because no one has ever physically came back from the dead, unless they were only dead for like 5 seconds and we had the clear, and you know what I'm saying, we were able to bring them back. But nobody has ever been dead for years and then came back. Grandpa, I haven't seen him since. Grandma, I haven't seen them since. My friend that was killed by the police, I have not seen them since. The whole Tales from the Crypt graveyard thing, that is emotion talk. Even with the Roman guy and all the graves, it's emotion talk. It's to make a story more grand. But the dome is real. The dome is real because I don't think anybody's ever been out of space. Like, why do you think they only talk about Mars? That's about as far as they go. They're all their life on Mars. They don't know. I can't even inhabit Jupiter. We can't even inhabit Uranus. For some weird reason, you can't inhabit any other planet, and you guys have never really set foot on Mars. You've only put the little robot thing on there, and ironically, Mars looks like a red version of the moon. That's what it looks like. It looks like the moon, red. Same craters, same look, same everything. Like if NASA really is a play on word. Like they say, T minus 3, 2, 1. If you minus the T, but if you add it in NASA and scramble the words around, you get Satan. You get a deceiver. Why would it be minus 10 or T minus? Why are they doing that? Like if they're playing with you, like if they know they're playing with you. The whole NASA doesn't even start in space. It starts in the ocean. So you have picture graphs and all different types of designs of things that they're trying to say are outside when really they're inside. Even Red Hot Chili Peppers and California, Californication, they even admitted that shit. They even said it. So it is possible, and this is why Elon Musk is one of the richest people on earth, because he's involved in the illusion or the delusion illusion. He's involved in it. But that would mean everybody's involved, of course. We're talking about two different things. Mind control on not letting you get too smart to get too close, compared to, trifling devil worshippers and stuff like that. No. The whole point of devil is deceive. It's just a deceiver. Deceive you from what? The truth. Okay, so if they're doing, moon landings in Hollywood, picture studios, and they can't go nowhere but Mars looks like the moon just with a red cover over it. Like, remember those clue games you guys used to play as kids when you decoded, where the little red thing. If it just looks like that, and through all in all, something already told you a long time ago that there was a dome you were in. But all of these followers of this book never talk about this dome. Is it fair to say that this is why a lot of stuff happens, and mainly only to humans? Like, you guys remember they had those jackrabbits real quick, just for, it wasn't that long ago. It was like Coronado or Colorado. They're talking about how they're changing. They're turning into these like mutants. And a lot of people were like, no, those are actual natural rabbits. It's just, that's like an alternate version of it. But no, that's natural. That happens all the time. You notice you don't see a large amount of that? Historically, they told us that things change and morph and new stuff is discovered all the time. Why haven't we had any alterations to the animal life? Even the humans, they have to play the role and act like they can be a woman or something like that, but they haven't even changed much. Everything's pretty much still the same. It's just a bunch of technology. But how old is this technology? If P. Hill is talking about Atlantis and talking about it got so advanced that they stopped writing stuff down and then they lost information. Okay, and then you look at modern times today, and it's so technology advanced that people stopped writing stuff down. They started putting it in their phones and notebooks and all this different stuff, even though the whole computer could fall overnight and then all of that information would be just swiped. Like history's repeating itself, right? Where? People astral project, they still never left the earth. They're telling you what they claim they experienced, but they're telling you on earth. See, they're never talking to you outside the dome from somewhere. Hey, guys, I'm with them. They're with me. It's never like that. It's always on the ground. Every story you've gotten, Muhammad rode off on a winged horse to the heavens. From where? From earth. Christ rose up, took off in a cloud. From where? The earth. Isaiah or Elijah rose up. It flew up. From where? The earth. All of these stories are being based on the earth. You can try to fantasize and go outside the dome all you want, but at the end of the day, your astral projection only led you to the heavens, which is what? The firmament, which is the dome. So nobody's ever got out. Even when they show you that Masonic picture of the guy breaking out into the real world, what is it? It's a dome. Once again. So I'm telling you, nobody has ever got out of this dome. And it makes perfect sense now why these elites play the same games decade for decade, year in and year out, drugging the people, misleading the people, misguiding the people, twisting the words of knowledge, decrypting knowledge, just hiding knowledge, making knowledge too expensive to where you cannot afford to buy it. It makes sense why the same games have to keep being played over and over, because you're in the same game. The game never stopped. You're in the dome. Why would God do that to us? Because what God are you referring to? Are you still referring to the spook man, which I told you does not exist? Or are you referring to the Most High, omnipotent knowledge? And with somebody with a lot of knowledge, what could they do? They could do a lot of building. They could do a lot of controlling. They could do a lot of monitoring. They could do damn near anything because they're higher thought than you. They're smarter than you. And then imagine an ultimate brain with all these minions, all these people that know it's smart and know that they can't go against. So they're willing to play in its game, light and dark. The devil and the demons and the angels are still both giving you a choice. You still have a chance to choose what you want to do. They don't force anything. Nothing is forcing you. This is not a horror movie. The thought comes in your brain, where the Most High dwells. You're either going to do some trifling stuff or you're going to do some good stuff. You're either going to stop the fight or engage in it. You're either going to steal it or pay for it. Every day you're going through this battle. And most of you were born in the hospitals. Most of you have a birth certificate. So you don't know what the hell they put in you when you were a child. If they make the movie The Matrix, right? And in the movie, he fucking gets that thing put in his belly button and they have to suck it out. All right. That's a movie. Do you know how small microchips are? So they geeking you out today talking about putting stuff, chips in your hands. So like, how do you know they didn't put something in that baby formula years ago? In that IV fucking drip years ago? How do you know? You were an infant child. How do you know? Your parents, how would they know? They're not a part of the system. How would they know? And say it attaches inside your body and it never leaves. How would you know? Say it does die after time and they have to redo it, and that's why they always have a new vaccine to give you every year. Say it's in your flu shot. How would you know? I'm saying that because monetization, this mega brain that I'm speaking on, I don't believe it's a machine. I don't even know if it's a family or a bloodline. I just know that somebody is going to have to be given this information for them to keep doing it over and over and over again. Nobody is eternal. No one is. The science can be eternal because it's the Most High science. And as long as we're constantly building on the calculation of calculations, then we'll always be making new conclusions. It will always happen. It's just, that's the way it works. You're never going to meet any little green men. It's not going to happen. I damn sure know you're not going to meet any of your like prophets and stuff like that. Hold on. I know you're not going to meet anything like that, because that's not the point of the science. The point of the science is given to you while you're here, because this is where you're going to use it. You're going to use it on Earth. Doesn't that make sense? Don't you read on Earth? I've never heard about angels reading and demons reading and stuff like that. I heard they twist the word, but through what? Through human vessels. It's through flesh. So, why am I saying that? Am I trying to get all biblical? No, because remember, I don't believe in, you wishing on a star and that's going to do something for you. I don't. I believe you really have to analyze the information. And when you're listening to it, I think we all have to admit that you were told you were in a dome in this spooky ass book, that people want to believe that, you know, people dying because they drop sperm on the floor and people turning into salt and floods and all that. In this book, it just so happens to tell you you're in a dome. And then you got all these round earth people coming later, because remember, in ancient times, everybody thought the earth was flat. So who were these people that started talking about this round stuff? Who did that? Oh, everybody knows the earth is round. Why? Because they gave you a picture. Even in the original map of the earth is flat. When you're in school and you look at that world map, how is it given to you? Right across. It's given to you right across. So people be like, oh, well, you know, the earth is not flat, we fall off. When we're saying the earth is flat, we're not saying it in the sense of like a piece of paper. We're kind of saying it like the picture is showing it. It's flat in the sense of everywhere you are is in the aerial sense. There's no bottom of the earth. That's why it's just land and then water. It's just land and water. And water, every time you go to the oceans, it's as vast and as wide as it can be. It's not a fake sky in the background. No, that's not it. But it's as vast as it can be. And then here's another question. If the earth is rotating, is it possible that it's rotating inside this dome? Because this is just a picture. This is just somebody's concept of what they think it is. Doesn't mean that that's exactly what it looks like. But what I'm saying is, it told you. I could have swore it said it. Let's look real quick. Let's read again. Where's that? Oh, no. Okay, I was incorrect. It's the earthly waters. I mean, the heavenly waters and the earthly waters. Because I was going to say, why is one section of the water green and then why is one blue? Like if it's taking place both places, it's taking place in the heavens and in the earth. But I know people talk about evaporation and stuff like that, and I understand that. But whoever said water had to come from the sky? And why is it just water? And why is the planet like mainly water? I mean, I'm asking as a person on the earth. You know, I get it. What other examples would you have to use? But I'm saying, if a long time ago it's telling you it's going to separate the waters, the ones from the heavens and the ones from the earth. And your earth is 90% water. 70% is nothing but water. Okay, and then nothing but water comes from the sky. Even if it's frozen, it's still water. Somebody wrote it. They were here. They experienced the water from the sky. They're just claiming it. Duh. I know. We have big brains. I get it. But it's already being explained inside the dome. So there's nothing outside of it. That's what I'm saying. Like the stars are in the dome. The sun is in the dome. Everything is inside of the dome. So clearly, past the stars is nothingness. So how big is this dome? That would be a good question. Like, how big is this dome? Does the dome stretch out, you know, as far as vast? Because you're only using your human eyes. You're not using the telescope. You get to see a lot farther. But it's like, how big is the dome? There ain't no dome. The dome is being explained by too many people. The flat earth concept is not, like, who said these scientists were right to begin with? Who said that? Who's giving them the end all be all to the statement of the earth being flat or round when the earth has always been perceived as flat from the beginning. And then now later on, people are talking about it's round, and it's like, well, you can't verify it. You're saying it's on its axis. Okay, that's not true. That's a character. There's nothing really like stuck on the earth. That's not real. So that's a lie. You made that up. Okay, can it be true that they made up the earth is round? The ice wall. We all know you can just fly over that. Okay, people have seen other stuff on the other side. So why are we not speaking on this? Not saying that we can't. Everybody's gonna fall for the programming. Black and white duality, they've been caught up in the spell, so I understand that. But I'm just like, why is this not spoken on more? Why are people not giving props to the facts that even the damn corrupt spellcasters, even in their science, there's this dome, and nobody in the church talks about it. None of the Muslims talk about it. None of the Jews talk about it, even though the ones that are claiming to be the Jews, they make a dome for their own nation. I wonder where they got that idea from. Trump's talking about building one over here, but I'm like, okay, so humans are making invisible shielded domes. Who are they getting this science from? And if there's a story, like supposedly thousands of years ago, about a dome, well then, like, people are doing this today. They're making domes today. Okay, it just so happened the first one that we got on record is for these mysterious people that are supposed to be these chosen people. And in this book, and always remember, Genesis, nobody really can claim. There are countless of scholars that are arguing that Genesis, we don't know who wrote this. Because the creation story is pretty much similar all the time. We're not talking about, some, fantasy stuff, a turtle or, a magic bird. It's like, nobody's talking like that. We're talking about how the heavens and the earth was created, and, the splitting of the seas and all. Those stories are usually similar because they're all coming from people that are on earth that are going to be talking about the elements. It makes sense. So then later on, scientists come through and they're talking about pretty much the same thing. They're just saying in a scientific way. They're not using God in it, but it's pretty much the same atom. All of it's on earth. None of it is outside of earth. So anybody talking about things from outside the earth are tripping. Like even the concepts, the Son, the Father, the Holy Spirit, all that stuff would have to be in the dome. Because that's where the story is taking place. It's all taking place inside the dome. So why am I saying all this? Because I feel that the answer is not outside. It's not going to come from space. We don't need no spooky talk. We just need to realize that if this dome is real, then that means the program is real. If the program is real, then the spells are real. And it makes sense how they've been keeping people in order since, the dawn of time. How, they turned just a group of people into a village, into a town, into a nation, into, cities, states, all different types of stuff, countries. But I'm just asking, because that's a worldly thing. I'm asking about in this country. What are we supposed to be doing if it gets to the point where it's like, okay, logically, some people just don't get that, crime don't pay. Doing people wrong, it catches up to you, or, you're wasting your time, or just drinking and fighting all day. It's like the negative. Some people clearly are just not getting that. That doesn't help the world go around. It does, in a sense, people are doing it, and, jail's got to get filled. Somebody's got to buy these drugs. Somebody's got to pay to watch her shake her ass. She wants to do it. Somebody's got to pay for it. It is what it is. But if there's more to this than that, and you see people soliciting stuff to you in a negative way, like how many times are they going to speak to us and we're not going to admit that they talking to us? Like, yo, they talking to us, yo. Give you a prime example.
Listen, there was a book that came out that Jasmine Ray wrote, and in the Daily News today, it stated that there was a sexual action that happened in Borough Hall to be put in that book, and it wasn't. You're a dog sick person, man. You know that? You're a dog sick person. Your name was on the byline. And there's some of you that have been covering me. You guys could part. Let me do this. Y'all could depart. All right, bro. And in the Daily News today,
that's Eric Adams. Everybody knows Eric Adams is Black American. Why is he using this certain? Listen to him. Why is he using these certain words? Why is he saying?
It was stated that there was a sexual action that happened in Borough Hall to be put in that book, and it wasn't.
Okay, they accused him of a sexual act. They put it in the book. He said it didn't happen. Why is he using these particular words?
You're a dog sick person, man. You know that? You're a dog sick person. Your name was on.
Why is he saying dark? If he's black, supposedly. What have I always told y'all? They know what they're saying. They put y'all in a color scheme so that y'all couldn't get certain things. The word dark, in the sense that he's using it, is referring to wicked. That's why he said sick right after. He said, you guys are dark, sick people. This is why I don't get into the, I'll talk about racist stuff, but I'm not racist at the end of the day. I know both sides are lost. I get it. And what I'm saying is, this is one of the reasons why they did that. In truth, dark and light is knowledge and ignorance. Or ignorance and knowledge. We get it. But why would they have us out here like this? Why would they have us out here as adjectives, knowing that we're nouns? Why they have people, parading in mirages, putting on bras and panties when they're supposed to have drawers and tank tops? Like, why? Why all the celebrity fantasy play? Because fucking American Negroes are Indians? Yes, this is true. This is very true. But what's even deeper than that? It would be total control. It'd be that machine, that CERN machine. Weathercasters. How do they know what's going to happen the next day? How are they doing that? Meteorologists. That they live stuff is deeper than just the corporation. Because they want a global economy. They want it all as one. I don't believe that evil necessarily rules the world. I believe control rules the world. And I believe through higher thought, people gain control. And it's about understanding, the game that you are born in. You're just born in it. And how to wisely move while you're in this game. Some people, crash out. Dying, burning cars, shot up, needle in their arm, etc., etc. I think that's because they're not equating enough knowledge to realize that clearly somebody is placing all these options in front of you. And it's going to be up to you to, make the right choices. Some people sadly aren't. But the flat earth thing is real because the dome is real. We're not talking about earth as in flat, as in literal, as in you guys want to say it. No. We're saying that this thing has always been the way that it has. It was told a long time ago. The people that preach about this book never talk about this, which lets you know that they're either blind to the facts or they're a part of the game to keep you on the wrong truth in life this one time. And have you going around talking about spooky stuff and shoot, I was just watching an old Halloween episode of Popeye. I'm talking about hobgoblins and all different types of stuff. And it's like, if you look into folklore in England, it's like that actually used to be like a helper that used to clean the house. Once Christianity got around it, then it became a wicked thing. And it's like, well, why? Christianity is broke off through Judaism. Okay, the old Jew has a golem or a golem. Goblin, hobgoblin. Okay, goblin. It said it didn't turn wicked until Christianity came over there. Makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Maybe most won't, but I get it. Folklore mixing with folklore could demonize the other folklore, which they would have deemed paganism anyway. So I get it. And this ain't no bash towards Christians because, like, the title has nothing to do with who's repping it. You know what I'm saying? There's dirtbags representing good companies all the time. So it's like that. You know, I can't say who brought to who at what time, and maybe they were a bad spirit. You know, it is what it is. But I'm saying that to say that's how they got it. They started using things that were already there, referencing them to things that are from their side of the pond, and then they would morph theirs over yours and demonize yours. That's how the elites work with you critical thinkers. You know what I'm saying? You people out there that have an actual brain, that's how they get us, because they'll put all this propaganda and pandemonium around the masses, and then they'll be the ones lost in the sauce, and then they're going to point you out like, no, you're just not with the times. And it's like, no, maybe I'm with more than the times. Maybe I'm with the times of the past, in today, in the future, and you just are stuck in whatever pandemonium fad they want to put in front of your face. The dome is real. As far as all the politics and stuff going on, we'll talk about that on another video. I really do want the people to understand that there is a reason that they want the sexes at war. They want procreation, but they don't want smart people being made. That's why they prefer the woman with, you know, anything of bad. They don't care if it's a corrupt executive, criminal, street criminal, white collar, blue collar. They don't care. She's just a vessel. You know, if you're trying to make a genius because, you know, you got with a genius woman, it's really going to be determined off your sperm. It's really going to be determined off your health and how your brain works. All that good stuff. She's just fertilizer. You're coming through with the life. So, the bimbo model, the athlete, the celebrity, it makes sense. The more of these we make, the less critical thinkers we'll have, and the more people we can just give bread and send them to the circus. Very simple stuff. But if we get the minds to wake up and get off of racism and get on realism and understand that the debt that, you know, the common people are in, let's just use this country as an example, there's a lot of debt we didn't even ask for. A lot of investments that didn't benefit us, and we really didn't get a say-so to, you know, determine where this money was going anyway. And then a lot of money disappears, or it comes back in the red, where it's now it's debt. Keep us on that racetrack, you know what I'm saying, trying to chase that cheese, you know, the little mouse and all that. Make a few corrupt weasels along the way. You know, some people find their niche, they find their way in, make some good money, but they don't do nothing positive with it. The people need to come together and realize something. Politics are cool, but politicians are your problem. It's not the words of the policies of either side. It's the weasels using them. That's what we need to start understanding. Same thing with this dome. You don't have to believe in a spook man and somebody with horns and a tail on the ground. You don't have to believe in that. But you do have to believe that people are talking about something of today that in ancient times had been proven was there. And then in a biblical narrative, it is there, but nobody who worships this Bible speaks about it. Not even just the reverends, the followers of this stuff. Ask them one day, be like, why don't you guys ever talk about the dome that we're in? That this God had been said a long time ago. It's in the first book. It's in the first book of this Bible. Why are you, into aliens and space movies and all that? And why do you find it disrespectful to call somebody an illegal alien when it's like there's alienation, there's alienated? It's like there's so many different reasons to use that word. It doesn't have to refer to some spaced out Hollywood stuff that really doesn't make any sense anyway. That's how you know aliens are not real. You're in a dome. For some reason, there's so much technology, and then there's so many versions of an alien. Oh, they wouldn't mess with a dog. I've seen aliens. I've seen Mars attacks. I thought they had advanced technology. Why would they be worried about us if they have telekinesis? They can just lift everybody up and just throw them against a wall or something. Because it's not real. This is all to keep you brain dead instead of realizing, if there really is a dome and we're really all stuck in here and people know this stuff and know it so much to the point that they can build domes themselves, and the first group that would get it would be courtesy of this book, then you got to start asking yourself some real questions. What else do they know? What else do they have? Forget tapping phones. What other type of monetization or monetarization do they have? We already know about drones. How good are those cameras? Shit, look at your iPhone. Look at your brand new iPhone. It's a great camera. Look at your cameras you guys use for, your photos. Oh, those are great cameras. So what do you think the government has? Or better yet, no, forget the government. What do you think the worldwide elite has? They're the ones who gave you all these alien stories, Roswell and in Italy and everywhere. They're the ones who gave these stories. They're the ones who put out these movies, Independence Day, all of them. Morphing your brain out. What's on the other side? I don't know. Maybe elite meetings. Maybe it's where they fly the kids to do sacrifice. I don't know. I don't know. My guess is just as good as yours, or your guess is just as good as mine. But what I can say is the dome is real. Now, whether you want to say the earth is flat or not, that's fine. But the dome is real. Oh, yeah. And if that can be, so much so that people can create domes today themselves, then somebody is connected to something. That's all I'm going to say. Y'all can talk about Anunnaki. I'm telling you, nothing is outside the dome. So it's like, some people are connected to something. And I'm not saying they all work the same way, because I don't think good and bad exists within this thing. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think duality is the point. You know what I'm saying? That's how things get done. hard and soft, hot and cold, right and wrong, up and down. I think it's through that connection that everything is. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can't do too much good and you can't do too much bad. You got to be balanced. And that's odd because people will say, oh, no, you got to live a life of good. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're going to be bad, you got to be bad to the bone. No. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but maybe that's not it at all. Maybe that never was it. Maybe you weren't supposed to be addicted and drawn into these energies, period. That's why there are options. You can be stoic. You can be stale to the whole thing. But nobody teaches you that. They teach you, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Don't do the wrong thing. Meanwhile, all of you subside to wrong because remember, you're born into it, right? That's just a little play on plays. Like, yo, it's a free pass. You know, everybody's messing up because we're born to mess up. The living vessel has to die, don't it? Your pets die. You know what I'm saying? Your physical got to go one day. So clearly it is a negative because it has to end. And then it ages. It keeps gauging up. And you know, to other things, that's a good thing. But not in life. In life, gauging up means getting older and older and older until you pass away. Saying all that says, yeah, we're being watched, controlled, operated on, confused, ran amok, all that stuff. Some people will get supposedly rich, some people will get supposedly poor, but in the end, did you achieve at least enough knowledge to know that certain things have been told to you because they actually have substance in your one life? And whether you choose to believe it or not, you're going to have to come to the conclusion that we probably are in a dome because this conversation has been talked about way too long and just certain things are leading to it. Certain things are leading to the facts that, yeah, maybe we weren't told the story right because it's in the damn story. And everybody's just out there like, oh, no, that's devil worship. And no, devil worship is not believing that the earth is round when you were told that a long time ago. That's what you were told. I mean, flat or in a dome. You don't have to believe it's round. You don't have to believe it's flat. But it was told to you that it was in a dome. And it split the waters up. And it's like, that's why there's water that comes from the top and then there's water that's already here. It will be your choice to call it Fantasy Island or not. Or is something here? And some people are connected to it to the point where they're controlling stuff. Because I don't believe the people that poison the food are the ones that harvest the food. I don't believe that. I believe there's two sides. Duality is here. I believe there's two sides. I believe just as much as there is good farmers, there are bad farmers. I believe just as much there is good, servicemen, there's bad servicemen. Just as much as there's good mothers, there's bad mothers. You got to see for what it is. Why would that be? Because everything is going on in the same dome. Nothing leaves. Nothing leaves. But hey, like, share, subscribe. Give me your feedback. How you feel about it, man. I'm out. Goes.